go. Money talks.
Here comes the money.
Finance Bunch. I'm Charline, and today in our studio we have the beautiful, the smart, and the most talented Neferteri Plessy. How are you?
I'm amazing. How about yourself?
I am doing really well. Now, Neferteri, you are the Single Moms Planet founder,
Yes.
and also the founder of the Single Moms Awards.
I am.
You know what? I want my audience to get to know you. So tell us just a little bit about yourself before we get started.
Oh, wow. Let me think. So I started off as a model when I first moved to Los Angeles. I actually still do modeling, not as much as I used to back in the day.
Okay.
But I'm a mom. I was married. I got divorced. I have 2 kids, 2 little boys who are
Amazing.
Amazing. They're so handsome and sweet.
Yes, they are.
They're really great boys. I love having being a mom. It's like probably the biggest joy of my life, definitely.
Right.
And I have a nonprofit for single mothers and children. We've been around we're in our 5th year now.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, we're in our 5th year. We just had our 5th annual Single Mom Awards as well this year, where we honor single mothers in the community. We honor corporations that are creating amazing impact around family and children. And we also, for the first year, we honored our first Man of the Year, which was awesome.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
I saw that. I was amazing. And thank you so much for inviting me.
Of course.
I had
Thanks
such
for
a good
being there,
time.
covering our event.
Yeah, you know what I love about your events, and then I'll get back to the foundation itself. But the thing that I love about your events is that it's all inclusive,
Yes.
you know, and you do it on such a grand scale.
I pride myself on that.
Yes, and I
Yes.
love that because you honor single mothers is what I'm trying to say.
Definitely. We I think I grew up in a single mother household fully. I'm very blessed. They're my children's father. He's super hands-on. We have 50-50 custody, and he has the boys all the time. He's very active in their lives. So I was very blessed with that. But my mom actually raised me as a single mom fully without any support from my father. And we actually lived in California, and he was in Louisiana.
Wow.
And so the one thing, as I got older and went through my, divorce and everything, the one thing that I noticed, I said, wow, it would have been awesome for me to be exposed to more. Right. For me to be exposed to more as a young lady, as a child, just to experience things. So we do tennis camps for kids. We do horseback riding. We do a camping trip to Catalina Island where the kids get to get on a boat, and it's sponsored by the Boy Scouts of America. And they get to go kayaking and snorkeling and rowboating. I mean, they get to get all these amazing experiences.
That's amazing.
So it's just really having the kids where they can get different tools in their arsenal for when they become teenagers and they go on to do great things in life. And then also for me with my mom, I don't really remember her having like core boss women in her life.
Right.
That were up to great things, that were starting businesses, that were after, making their own money, making their own way. Also, having a healthy dating lifestyle. I just didn't really see her having those types of women in her sphere of influence. And so that's another core value for Single Moms Planet. It's just, growing each other, pushing each other, and adding value to the community.
You even have a mastermind luncheon that you do.
We do.
And I enjoy it. You have the framework that you've put in place is just amazing. And so that goes back to my first question, and I think you've answered it, is what made you decide to start Single Moms Planet?
Definitely. I think when I just spoke a few minutes ago, I believe that is a core part of it. But one of the things that I didn't mention as to why I started Single Moms Planet was I was really confused after my divorce. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know what career path I wanted to take. My self-esteem was low. I, just really didn't have the tools to move forward. And I knew I wanted to do it quickly.
Right.
I didn't want to look up 10 years from that date that I got the divorce and say, I'm still in this same sorrow space.
Right.
Right. And so I really wanted to find women that were already on that path to getting over their divorce or had maneuvered through the waters. And so I reached out to women who had been through divorce or who had really happy, successful marriages as well.
Right.
Because we have all types of women and families that are involved with the organization. We're a
That's
nonprofit.
right. Yes.
And it's really that village approach. You know, we have men that mentor in the organization. We have
Yes.
married couples that mentor in the organization. We have women who have no children that are a part of the organization as well. And so I think it was really key just to have like a community that understood the dynamic of the single mother household and what was missing and what was needed for where we are now today.
And, you know, I love the fact that you structured it in that way because you cover all of the things that being raised in a single parent household, usually the one parent doesn't have the opportunity to cover. You know, usually women, when they're in this situation of being a single mom, they're so busy and concerned about having money and being able to financially support that some of the other things don't get covered, like having a multidimensional look at, you know, even from like an entertainment and sports and all of these things that kids need
Very
to
true.
be exposed to, so that when they're teenagers, they start to develop in a way that they know a direction that they might want to go in.
Definitely.
And they
I
have
agree.
a wider range of things to choose from.
Exactly. I mean, for instance, our tennis camp is taught on the campus at UCLA by the tennis coach of UCLA. And it's the kids who are training our kids.
Right.
They play for USC and they also play for UCLA. And so they're immediately exposed to not only athletes, but athletes who are going after their education
Right.
in top tier universities and colleges that are in California.
Right.
Right. And so then we also do a scholarship where the kids get to go to the Riviera Country Club. And so they're exposed to that environment as well.
Right.
So, you know, you don't know what you don't know.
That's right.
Right. And so my goal and the organization's goal is for them not to feel like they weren't exposed or they didn't have the access or they didn't have the proper mentorship or they never, the first time they step on a college campus is when they apply,
Right.
you know, and this is giving them the opportunity to say, when I was 5 years old, I was on the UCLA campus.
Exactly.
I was speaking to the children that were already being educated on the campus, that were mentoring me from the age of 5 to the age of 15 or however long they're a part of the organization.
Right.
You know, or being around the coach that is a national tennis championship coach that is taking his time 4 times out of the month to actually train our kids. You know, so most of the organization is voluntary based.
Right.
You know, which has been a huge blessing.
Yes.
And I think it's definitely a different approach. There, you know, I personally don't even really know any other organization that is tapping into the single mother, you know, experience in this way.
I don't know of another organization that's doing it in this way either. And that's why I wanted to have you on, because it's needed. It's
Right.
much needed. And to take that multifaceted approach is only going to raise healthier children. They're not in this silo of single motherness. And not that that's a bad thing, but if you have the support of other women and men who can help shape the kids to be everything they can be instead of just being one-dimensional, I think it's wonderful.
Definitely. No, I agree 100%.
And I think we only focus on the financial end of it in a lot of cases. Like, oh, single moms need this kind of help, or, oh, they need this kind of help. And no, it's multifaceted. You know, the kids need to go to camp. And I remember when my children were young, I was a single parent also. And so I know how expensive those camps are.
They're very expensive.
I sent my kids to those camps. So I know those camps are extremely expensive. So to have someone to donate their time that are of that level is just a blessing.
Yeah.
It really is.
The tennis camp at UCLA, when they do their summer camp, they give scholarships to our kids as well. Those camps are $800 to $900 a week.
a week.
And that's not a stay over camp.
That's
you come
right.
pick your kid up.
You drop them off at a certain time and you pick them up
every day.
That's right.
And so, you know, even people who do have financial well-being a lot of times can't even afford
That's
that.
right.
They have 1 or 2 kids or 3.
Yes.
That's a lot.
That is a lot. Could you imagine spending $1,800 a week for 2 or 3 kids to go to one camp? And those camps are usually like 6 weeks long.
They're about 6 weeks long. Yeah.
So I remember, and then if you have one child who wants to go to tennis camp, then they want to go to basketball camp, and then they want to go to, you're looking at a fortune.
The equipment and all that. Yeah, definitely. Actually, the Rotary Club of Santa Monica donated all of our tennis gear to us. Yeah, so we can get tennis rackets and balls. So that was really a blessing as well.
Now, I have so many questions for you.
Of course.
What made you name it? How did you come up with the name?
Wow, that was a brainstorming session.
Okay.
It was not me by myself. I was in a program called Landmark Education. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it or not. Mm-hmm. And I was going through a process called SELP.
Yes.
Which is self-expression and leadership.
Yes.
And so one of my really good friends who actually introduced me to Landmark, his name is Marcus Mavakala. We were going back and forth about the name, and the name was going to be really important.
That's right.
Because we wanted it to be a global expression.
Yes.
We wanted it to have global impact. And so we knew we wanted the name to have Single Moms Planet in it, mostly because of SEO and just searchable keyword.
Right.
Make it simple and basic.
Exactly.
And some kind of way, I think we might have had like about 5 different options, and, Single Moms Planet, it really resonated with us, and it resonated with the few core people who I was also including in that process.
Right.
And it was available online.
Wow.
So,
I like the fact that you call it Single Moms Planet, because you bring the universal aspect to it. And what people don't understand is that being a single parent is not just a national situation in the United States.
It's global.
It's a global situation. And I remember listening to you in an interview, and you had given some statistics on how many single moms that there are out there, that you don't even realize how many of us there are.
Very true.
Right?
Very true. Yes. So definitely piggybacking on what you just said, it's being a single mother is definitely a global experience.
Yes.
Most of the single mothers that we have that reach out to us, a lot of them are actually in Canada.
Wow.
We have moms that are in Canada. We have moms that are across the U.S. We have moms who have reached out to us from Africa, China. There's a huge situation in China, because if you give birth to a little girl, they want you to, usually abort that little girl.
Right.
And so the women who say, no, I'm keeping my little girl, they're immediately exiled, and they have to take care of themselves. Their families don't really want anything to do with them. So they're raising those little girls alone.
Wow.
And so it's definitely, that name it was almost like projecting into the future of like, this is the platform that we want to approach.
Right.
And so right now in the US alone, I don't know the global statistics, and I don't even know, we could probably research it and look it up, but I would even say it's probably double that.
Right.
Whatever we think the number is globally is probably double that. But in the US, there's 1 out of 3 single mothers, for every household. And then that rate is growing, because right now in the US, we're at a 50% divorce rate.
That's right.
And so most of those households are raising children who are being, raised by the single mother. There may be some co-parenting situations happening, which is amazing.
Right.
But as we know, single motherhood comes about from so many different angles. And then there's a huge movement of single mother by choice.
Right.
There are women who just want to have a child, and they maybe haven't met the man of their dreams, and they're approaching that state where they're like, if I don't have a child now, I may not be able to have the opportunity to have one.
Right.
And then there's a lot of women who also adopt as well on their own.
That's very true.
Yeah. So it's taken all types of approaches, but one of the main things that I tell to married couples, people who have kids, people who have never seen divorce in their family, because I have people who say, oh, we don't, we haven't experienced that in our family, or I don't really know any single moms. I'm like, I don't really know if you think that you don't know any single moms. I'm like,
Right.
That's pretty impossible if you're alive.
Exactly. Exactly.
And the facts are, although your family may have never have experienced divorce, or, you've been with your husband for 35 years or whatever your situation is, if you're procreating and having
Right.
children, and your children are having children, they're at a highly likely rate to date and or marry
Yes.
a child that was raised in a single mother household.
That's absolutely right.
And so it is a global and national issue
Right.
that we need to make sure these households are being educated properly. They're having the proper nutrition.
That's right.
They're getting the proper balance of life and leisure
Right.
and just experience, because they're going to become a part of your family.
That's right. And
You
I
know?
think that's the part that people don't get, is that you may have a lineage of successful
Exactly.
marriages, but as time goes on, sooner or later, your child or your grandchild is going to be either in a relationship with a single parent or married to a single parent.
Exactly.
And so to raise healthy families, whether it's a single parent or not, should be, on the forefront of what we're thinking about,
It's so
especially
true.
here in America.
And there's so many women that I personally know who are marrying into relationships with single fathers,
Right.
right? And they're taking on that stepmother role, which initially they're really marrying a single dad,
Right.
And the vice versa. There's men who don't have any kids and they're marrying single mothers, and so it's so key that we don't make it seem like, oh, there's something wrong over there, I'm going to ignore it.
Exactly.
And one of the main reasons why I started the organization also is that I felt like there was a huge stigma around the terminology single mother, single mom,
You're absolutely
any of
right.
that.
You're right.
And even after I got divorced, I wore my wedding ring for 2 years because I was embarrassed that I was divorced. I didn't want to be identified as single anything.
Right.
And my identity was in my marital relationship.
Wow.
That's who I was. I was a woman, I was a wife, I was a mother. That was pretty much it. And so when I had to really take a step back and re-identify myself, I had to notice that, there's a self-esteem issue here, that I've lost my identity, my personal identity. And so now, when we went out to really start to promote Single Moms Planet, I was like, well, what do I want this organization to look like? Well, I wanted to have in the forefront, I want you to see powerful women who are
Yes.
handling their business.
And so when we come back, that's exactly what we're going to talk about. Who is a part of your Single Moms Planet? I'm Charline. This is Lunch with the Finance Bunch, and we'll be right back. And we're on Dash Talk Radio. Good afternoon. This is Charline, and we're back on Lunch with the Finance Bunch, and we have the pleasure, I want to say this, of interviewing a very, very interesting woman who started a powerful movement for single women. And her name is Neferteri Plessy, and she's the founder of Single Moms Planet and also of the Single Moms Awards. It's so great to have you in our presence.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. This has been amazing. Truly.
Now, we were talking about the powerful women that you surround yourself with, and how, self-esteem is so important. And, we talked about this a little bit, before we came in too, about how because you've got some powerful women around you. You really do. And I've interviewed some of them, and I'm going to interview more. So thank you for opening your Rolodex to me, because you've got some powerful women around you. Now, how did you attract these women, and was it on purpose? How did that happen?
Wow. I think it was definitely intentional.
Okay.
For sure. The organization, when we launched it, we set out for it to attract and to have a platform for women who are up to great things in life.
Yes.
And so the messaging and reaching out to, say if I reached out to 10 women who I respected in their business and their family and how they handled life.
Right.
And say, hey, do you have a friend who is like you, or 2 friends that are like you? Can you introduce them to the organization? And so really just building that community from the inside out.
Yes.
And just enrolling people in what we were up to. We wanted to change, and we still are. We want to change the face of single motherhood.
Yes.
And even the women who may never, like say, she's never worked a job, or she doesn't have a high school education, confused, or whatever her situation is.
Right.
She could be homeless on the street. We deal with women who are homeless as well on the street with their kids. No matter what her situation is, when we do counseling sessions, we do not talk into that pity.
Right.
We're like, that's your story from the past. If you're calling us, you're creating a future.
That's right.
And if you're not up to that, then you're not ready for what we have to offer. We're not going to give you anything.
Right.
Are you working? Oh, no. And they go into a lot of story and, what they did and what he did. And I'm like, I'm not interested in that. I don't have those types of conversations. I have conversations about what we're doing today.
Exactly.
And creating a plan of action for you to create success.
That's
it.
Today and tomorrow.
Period. Now, we can coach you. We can help you. You can come into our office. We can sit down. I can surround you with women who will make sure that you are secure moving forward.
Yes.
But you have to have sacrifice in that mix. And a lot of the time, sometimes we're being taken care of as women too.
That's very true.
We're not working, or the husband or the man is taking care of us. And so it kind of puts us in a docile situation where we don't really feel our power. We don't have savings. If we have a college degree, we haven't used it in 10 years because we've been taking care of kids.
That's right.
Right. And so it's a scary space. And so we really just say, we got all that. Like, everyone has a story.
That's right.
Right. But at the end of the day, no one owes you anything. No one owes us anything. Even, the government or, the welfare or, getting housing for free. No one owes you that.
That's right.
Right. So what are you going to do to get on the front line of your own life to take charge?
And secure your future.
And secure your future for yourself and your children.
Right.
And that is where our partnership is with the moms. That is who we are. And then with the moms who have a more successful platform, or they may have that business in order, or they may have the relationship in order, or whatever those things are, they still need something.
That's right.
Whether if it's community or having a glass of wine with some girls and not feeling like someone's judging you, for instance, or you can
that safe space,
a safe space, right? Or even wanting to grow your business, or saying, I'm making good money, but I'm not making enough. I want to meet different types of women, or I want to go on a vacation and I haven't been able to do that in 10 years. Help me figure that out.
Right.
Creating ways for them to have a full, healthy, happy life.
Right.
That's really what we're about.
I love that, because in everything you're saying, I was listening intently, because that's the other side of what a single mom needs.
Yes.
They need you to embrace them, not coddle, not baby, but embrace and help lift.
Right.
So no matter where you are, it's like, okay, that already happened.
Yes.
That's happened already. That's in the past. Now let's brace ourselves, catch your breath, take a deep breath, inhale, exhale, right? And let's move forward, because that's what happened to you. That's not who you are.
Definitely.
And we need to establish who you are so you and your family can move forward, right?
True.
And I love that. So I when I came to your awards this year, and I watched the dynamics and the different tiers of support that you have in place, I thought, this is a phenomenal movement. It's a foundation, it's a nonprofit, but it's also a movement.
Yes, I agree.
Because you do a lot of things, like your mastermind luncheons are amazing, because you get women to the table and you pick a topic, and you discuss it. And it's no holds barred. Like, we're going to have this fancy lunch and we're going to be dressed cute, but we're going to talk about the issues.
Yes.
Right? And I love that, because it's iron sharpening iron.
Definitely. Definitely. I think we've created a really great balance of mixing elegance, fun,
yes,
and education,
right,
and family dynamic.
Definitely.
And to be honest, when we started it, we had a plan, but you really, it's almost like making gumbo.
Right.
You have the ingredients, and as you put them in the pot, you're tasting it, you're adding some flavor. You're probably like, I'm not putting that in there again. Right. Just mess that up. Right. And so we went through all of that in creating the organization and really figuring out, what do the women need?
Right.
When I started the organization, I created it really from a pain space. And so even for me this year, I've been reevaluating who we are. What do we do? What is our messaging? Right. How do we come across? Because I'm healthy now.
Exactly.
You know, I'm in a different space.
Right.
You know, I'm in a different mindset. I'm in a different position financially. I'm in a different position in my dating life. Right. I'm not attached to my husband or my ex-husband emotionally anymore. You know, so.
And all of that is an evolution.
It is. And so I had to reset and say, if I started Single Moms Planet today, what would it look like?
Right.
How would it sound? You know, who would we be in the community? How would I communicate with our membership? Would we have a membership? What types of activities will we do with the kids? Or will we focus more on the kids and less on the mom? So I think, you know, even in having a nonprofit, it's still a business, right?
It is still a business. And that's something I really want to tap into too, because I run into at least one person a day who says, I want to start a nonprofit. And my answer to that is,
they do.
Why? You know, and I think there's this misconception that there's all this free money out there. And if you have an idea, somebody will fund your idea and make your idea great. And, you know, you'll be able to push that idea to the forefront and get funding for it. And that's not true.
And that's also not why nonprofits were started.
Right.
That's not the structure of why nonprofits exist.
Exactly.
Is not what we see in the media.
Right.
It's just not. It's really more of a tax shelter for corporations who are making a lot of money.
That's right.
And they want to make sure that instead of giving it to Uncle Sam, they can funnel it into something that they can control.
That's right.
And some people take advantage of nonprofit structures as well.
Yes.
But we're talking about the healthy structures right now.
Right.
Yeah. And so even when we started Single Moms Planet, I did not know, and it was suggested to me that we become a nonprofit. Mm-hmm. I didn't really understand how to operate a nonprofit, you know, and so it was a big learning curve. There's a lot of rules and regulations.
That's right.
You know, your business is very transparent. Your financials are online for anyone to see. Yeah. You know, you have to have multiple people on your bank account.
Right.
You know, all these things.
You can't make decisions alone.
No, it's a collaborative
decision. Effort.
Yes, definitely. Because if you make a decision alone and you spend $10,000 on something and people say, we didn't approve this.
Right.
You know, now you got some problems.
That's right.
And so, and especially the more that you make, the more problems you will have.
That's right. The more voices you will hear.
Right. Exactly. And everybody, especially in a nonprofit, because it is a collective type of business, everyone has an opinion.
Yes.
Everyone has something to say.
Yes.
And you could have, if you have a board of 10 and 8 of them are thumbs up, one of them is a little in the gray, and they could take that one person who says, I don't like it and I don't agree, and I need you to write, you know, a report, and I want to see a comparison of this and that. I mean, you're really at the beck and call of, you know, your board, how you choose your board.
That's right.
And you don't necessarily want to have all, you know, yes men on your board either, but it can become a lot, especially, you know, and people will donate to you to get projects done. Mm-hmm. Being a for-profit, Tom's is a for-profit.
That's right.
You know, there's a lot of organizations that are for-profit that do great things in the community. They may set aside 10% of their budget to impact the community.
Impact the community, right?
Right, and they still call their friends and they have galas and fundraisers, and you know those funds go to a particular, you know, project-based commitment.
Right.
You know, so it really, I would just, you want to be really cautious in starting a nonprofit. Now, for instance, if you have a friend or family member or business associate that you can just peacefully or quietly pitch a concept to and say, hey, I want to start this nonprofit. Will you back it?
Right.
If you can get some type of commitment prior to starting, then that's a totally different situation.
Right. But when you're looking at starting and then going to find the dollars to support the effort that you founded, that's not a good way to do business. And nonprofit is a business.
It is a business. And all of a sudden, everybody's on vacation.
Right.
When you need that check.
That's right. and you need that check.
You need that check.
And a lot of the ideas that I hear are things that have already been done or someone is already doing, and you should join efforts with someone who's already doing it and bring that money to the table so that you can do it powerfully together.
That is what you just said, Charline, is my number one go-to. Is what you're doing something that you can do collectively and collaboratively with someone else. Yes. Because everyone needs money in the nonprofit space, right? Yes. So if you're calling the same people about the same thing, combine your efforts, right, and tackle that task together. Because if you're impacting the same community, why not? Right.
Why not? Now, when we come back, I really want to talk about what message you want heard from Single Moms Planet. You know, what do you want I want some action items to come up. What do you want the listeners to do? How can listeners help you? How can we help this effort that you're making to really support single moms in a completely different way? Because it's not just a financial way, but it's to build the whole person, the whole woman, you know, to take her from, like you said, insecure, doubtful, not really sure what to do, and bring her to this whole, you know, confident woman that we see in front of us today. You know, how do we duplicate that? How do we, you know, make more Neferteris, right? Right? How do we do that? How do we help in that effort? And that's what we're going to talk about when we come back. How's that?
Awesome.
This is Charline, Lunch with the Finance Bunch on Dash Talk Radio, and we'll be right back. And we're back in the studio with Neferteri Plessy, as she is the founder of Single Moms Planet. And where we ended, I was talking about we need to create an army of Neferteris just moving forward in life, confident, secure, and knowing who they are as a human being. What do you think about that?
I don't know if we want to create too many Neferteris. We didn't get into my problem, so I don't know.
But I love what you said. You said that, you know, when you were divorced, there were some things that you needed to fix within yourself. Because
definitely.
It's, you know, a divorce is a traumatic experience no matter who you are. And so to go from being, like you said, someone's wife, you know, and a mom, to creating the person that we see standing before us today or sitting in front of us today, was a journey.
It definitely is a journey.
You know, and so there are so many women out there who are on that journey who just want to say, you know what, I don't have it all together. Where can I go get some help, right?
Yes, definitely. I mean, Single Moms Planet is absolutely a destination for that type of success as a mom, as a woman. We actually have members who don't have any kids in our organization because they just love the powerhouse women that are a part of it. They want to be in the community. They want to laugh, grab a glass of wine, have a chat about a boyfriend or a business deal that they're structuring, or even how they want their marriage to look like when they do have kids, right?
And the thing that I love about talking to women is that sometimes we just need to get it out.
True.
We just need to say it out loud in a safe space, you know? And sometimes we're not even necessarily looking for an answer.
No,
we just want to say it out loud in a safe space.
I think that's the dope part about SMP.
Yes.
Is that you could tell us that you're in love with your ex-husband, and he could have been crazy. He could have been whatever the situation was, and we get it.
Yes.
You know, and it's not like you talking to your mama or your sister.
That's right.
Or a best friend who's going to judge you because they got to, you know, sit at the dinner table with him the next day. You know, and so I think that's like why women come to us. They love the transparency
and the safe space.
It's so safe, and we love each other's kids.
Right.
Some of our moms they end up moving in together.
Right.
They start businesses together. They go to each other's birthday parties. They travel together.
Right.
You know, they don't invite me all the time. I'm like, where's my invite? But they really just thrive. And I love that the organization thrives with and without me. Like, that is my number one thing.
Yes.
It's like, this is not Neferteri's planet.
Right.
Right? Even though sometimes I act like it is. But in general, it is Single Moms Planet.
Right.
And what the women put in is what we get out as a community.
Right. But when going back to what you said about this not being Nefertari's planet, is Single Mom's Planet. I think you, from the first time I interviewed you to today, I think the care that you take with the organization and making sure that it does thrive in every area, and there are areas that you can let go of and watch it grow and blossom because you have someone in that space who is productive in that space. And I love that because it's like you have all these areas and you're raising all these children, you know, for lack of better terminology, and now they're popping up and now they're teenagers and they're young adults, and you know, each area is maturing.
Definitely.
Right?
And I love highlighting women.
Yes, and you do such a great job of it.
I love giving them access to whatever opportunity Single Moms Planet has. It's an open space for the women to also experience. So for instance, we, you know, when we first came on your show, you know, I brought about 6 other women with me that are in this. They're single moms. They're in the same space. It's like I am a person that doesn't even consider lack in my brain pattern or any capacity.
No.
And so anything that I have access to, anything the organization has access to, we're like, everyone have at it.
Right.
You know, grow your brand, grow your business, grow your platform. Because when the women are popping and doing their thing, we are too.
That's right.
It's like, look at our members. You know, they're doing great things, which then helps our platform be even better.
And it'll help you to attract even more.
Definitely.
You know, and you know, you help me to grow, to be confident, and in my confidence, and my business is thriving because I'm thriving. I'm going to write that check.
True.
You know, to
Very
Single
true.
Moms Planet, I'm going to write that check because I know, and you know, women are loyal like that.
Yes.
You know, they're loyal like that. Like, you know, I'm successful now, so Neferteri has a event coming up. What are we going to do? She needs this kind of help. Come on, ladies, let's go help her.
Definitely.
You know, how much money do you need, girl? Let me write this check, you know. And so you've given women on every economic level a safe place where they can come and thrive. Because like you said, whether you're the mom who has no job and doesn't know where her next meal is going to come from, or you're the mom who has a penthouse apartment in New York, and you have everything around you that you need, but what you don't have is that other woman who can understand exactly where you're at when you're not even saying anything. You're just standing there staring at each other. And it's like, girl, I know exactly what you're thinking. We got you. It's okay.
Very true.
Right?
Very true. Yes.
Because that's that space.
That's the great part about the organization is that no matter what level you're on or where you are, as a woman, we always need something.
Always.
All the time. I need something right now.
Right.
You know, so
Exactly.
it never stops. We need
too.
something in our sleep. We need
Girl.
something when we wake up, when we go to bed.
A conversation.
It's constant.
At a girl, whatever it is.
Whatever it is.
Somebody
A
grab
word
one
of
of these
encouragement.
babies, just with something.
It's true.
Right?
And so I think, you know, it gives that space for that to happen,
Yes.
which is so awesome.
That is awesome. Now, are you like social media? Does that help you a lot with your connecting with women?
It does. Women who wouldn't know anything about us definitely find us on social media.
Right.
You know, they get to connect with us and we create relationships with them online. We have quite a few women who are not single moms who we tend to connect with them on Instagram and Facebook and also Twitter as well. And they're like, oh, we want to come. Is it okay? I'm not a single mom. And I'm like, no, it's totally fine. We're a nonprofit. I think that may be one of our most difficult tasks is explaining to people you don't have to be a single mom to be a part of Single Moms Planet.
Right.
You can participate. You can come to our events. Of course, you can donate. You can volunteer. You can bring your husband. Nobody's going after him.
Right.
You know, we already had our own.
Right.
You
keep
keep
yours.
him.
Exactly.
And so I think that, you know, it's like a family affair. It's a family endeavor. A lot of our volunteers are also men who were raised by single mothers or women who were raised by single mothers. and even teenagers who are raised by single mothers.
So we get it.
Yeah. So it's a great community. I think it's huge fun. Our network is super successful in their own way.
That's right.
You definitely will meet people
Oh my goodness.
that you want to be around.
I've had some of them on my show.
Yes.
I had just
Apia.
recently Apia, and she's a fashion
she's
icon.
a powerhouse.
Yes, and she came on and she was amazing. I had Alicia.
Alicia is amazing.
Yes, and so
Yeah.
she wrote a wonderful book. In fact, my book club, we're
I
going to
get
read
to.
her book together.
I
get
love
to,
it.
right? And then next week I'm going to have
Saria.
Saria on. And so it's just this wonderful community of women who are doing things
Yes.
and can guide and don't mind you latching onto their skirt tail or
Not
their
at
dress,
all.
right? And saying, come on, you can come with us, girl. And I think that's what I love the most about Single Moms Planet.
Me too.
Now, you got to tell us all of your, where we can
Social
find
media and all that.
all of that.
So we're at singlemomsplanet.com.
Yes.
That's where we are on our website. If you go to our website, you can find everything. Sign up for our email list. That you mentioned, taking an action. I
Yes.
think the number one action is getting in the network. So if you sign up for our email list, we can stay in contact with you about
Yes.
what we're doing in the community. Definitely volunteering. You can do that on our website as well. And then we're on our social media. We're at Single Moms Planet across Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Yes.
And we have a private Facebook group that you can find as well, where we do more community conversations
yes.
about, divorce or child support, legal issues, women who have been homeless who are looking for a place to live,
Yes.
Women who need food or they're sleeping on the floor with their kids, and we find a mom who donates a bed and has it delivered to her.
Right.
So we're really, we're hands-on, and then we're also in the cloud as well inside of the social media and the internet.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know what, Neferteri? It is so amazing to have you on. I just love you so much.
Thank you.
And I really appreciate what you do, because this was, even though there are a lot of programs for women, this is what was missing.
I agree.
This was the missing link, and I'm so happy that you have filled that missing link for us.
Thank you.
Now,
Thank
before we
you.
get off the radio, you have to promise me you'll come back on.
Of course, I would love to.
Okay, and then I am connected with you on social media.
Yes.
And I'll make sure that I mention to our audience, whenever you have an event going on, how they can help you.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Definitely.
We're always looking for that community. I mean, one of our goals is definitely to be 1 million strong. We
Yes.
want this to really be a message that gets out there.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for spending this afternoon with us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Definitely. And I'm Miss Charline, and this is Lunch with the Finance Sponge. And you know where to find us at, on Dash Talk Radio every Tuesday at noon. You can check in with us and see what we have going on. We have wonderful people like Neferteri on to talk about their businesses. And we are going to end this with, I'm so happy for you to be here, and we'll see you on Tuesday at noon. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to Lunch with the Finance Bunch. I'm your host, Miss Charline, on Dash Talk Radio.
Tuesdays at noon. I'm God's gift.